The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas is a short story by Ursula K. Le Guin. And the basic premise of it is that there's this city called Omelas where everyone lives in complete bliss, the place is amazing, and everyone has great lives, apart from one person. The amazing lives that everyone has and the prosperity of the city are all sourced in a basement below the city of Omelas, where there's a small child suffering in this dark room where they're living in their own feces, and they have sores all over their body, and they just have a horrible life. Now, the people who live in Omelas can go and see the child. Everyone knows about the child, but they can also just ignore the fact that the child is there and just live sort of their lives in sort of blissful ignorance. But some people, when they see the child, do actually walk away from Omelas because they don't want their happy lives to come at the expense of this raw, visceral, intense suffering that this young child has, even though it's just one child and it's an entire city. But regardless of what any of us think that we would do if we were in that situation, I actually think that this story hits closer to home and reflects an ethical decision that actually most of us will face or actively engage in our lives, and that is having children. When we create someone, we really don't know how their life is going to turn out. We may be able to make guesses based on other people who have created people in similar situations to us, but we really don't know. Someone could be born into the best conditions ever and end up having a horrible life. Personally, I don't think any life is worth starting, but there are a lot of people who say that they've enjoyed their lives, right? And for the sake of this video, let's just label those as like good lives. The thing is, good lives don't exist in a vacuum just on their own. There's a large group of people out there who have had horrible lives, or they just haven't really enjoyed their lives, and they would say that it probably would have been better if they were never created in the first place. And no matter how dismissive someone wants to be of those people, that's not an insignificant group. If we take suicide as a very sort of rough estimate of how large this group is, it's the 15th biggest cause of death in the world. The way I see it is that every time we create a new generation, or as individuals we take part in creating a new generation, we're essentially creating a new Omelas over and over again. Given we know this significant group of people exists, and that in every generation there will be some of those people, we know that every generation we create, there are going to be those children in the basement. We know that the good lives that exist in each generation don't come in a vacuum. They come at the expense of the bad lives that are also contained within each generation. And each individual who creates another person is running the risk that they are going to be creating another child in another basement. And actually, I think it gets even worse, because we're not just creating Omelas, we're creating something worse than Omelas. In Omelas, it was a city of amazing wealth and everyone had an amazing life. And there was just one child who had this shit existence that everyone else's existence relied on. But in reality, what we're doing is we're creating loads of children in basements, and it's not to have this one amazing, wealthy city where everyone has amazing lives. It's to create a generation of people who mostly have average lives. So I think actually for that reason, this short story, The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas, is actually more relevant to all of our individual lives than we think. And it's not just something that we can sit back in some armchair and like muse about and think, oh, what would I do if I was in this situation? Because most of us are in that situation, because most people go on to procreate. Anyway, do you think I'm wrong? Did you have the same thoughts when you read The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.